Hey King,
Great.
how you doing?
Love it. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. How are
How
you?
was the family?
It was good. It was the first time we've talked in 5 weeks, as my parents have been off in Europe.
Of course.
Yes, I can't say this in a way that doesn't sound like an insult, but you look very
Oh
Melbourne
boy.
today.
Why?
Just like the flannel and the haircut and everything. You just look you scream in Melbs. I don't
You wouldn't.
dislike
What?
it. I don't
What would
dislike it.
you? What would you know about Melbourne?
I'm going based on the stereotype of the aesthetic of the Melbourne
I haven't
hipst.
seen. I haven't looked at myself really today,
You got a little bit
so
of
I
the
can't
sort
really
of you
tell.
got a little bit of the curls up front. You got the flat
Okay.
sides, and you got a hint of the old
Yeah.
mully at the back, and then
Oh yeah, I
flannel
do.
top. You look
Okay.
good. I'm just saying
I'm not looking too bad. Yeah,
yeah,
you're right.
you got a bit of that Melbourne flair.
All right. Well, thanks. I have slept for about 3 hours.
Oh, good. I've been sitting
So
down
that
for
makes me
an hour
feel
and a
good.
half, so I'm going to have some pent up energy. You're going to have very little energy, and together maybe we can just sort of balance out.
Yep. And if we don't, who cares?
Who cares? Because none of this matters.
Nothing matters. Yeah.
It's a very happy monstera out the side you got there. There's some fenestrations.
Um. Yep.
Great podcast material. Talking about a visual thing and then giving absolutely no word based or oral acknowledgement afterwards.
Well, I didn't realize there was a plant out there, to be
Yeah.
honest. But yeah. So I'm a bit slow. I haven't been sleeping very well.
Oh, what's that? That a cold brew?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm probably not sleeping well because I'm drinking coffee at 1:30 p.m. and a lot of it. But yeah, I just really, I know I've had sleeping issues
That
and
sentence, that sentence. Just for everyone listening at home, just skip back 10 seconds. Just listen to that fumble. Listen to the 7 or 8 different attempts to start that sentence again, and just revel in it. Just enjoy the flow there of just linguistic expressionism, right? Or is it impressionism? There's no way to really grasp meaning from this thing, but together as a collage of like phonemes, it's just got this beautiful music. And I was here
okay.
for it.
Okay. Well, it just supports my it's just more evidence for this sleeping issue that I keep having,
Yeah.
and it's making me very bad with words and sentences.
Is it the rats again, or were you just up late?
The rats.
Yeah, you had mice in the house.
Oh my
They
god!
scurrying
I
around.
when you when you said rats, for some reason this is again to do with lack of sleep. I just thought, what, all those COVID tests? That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
if you're sticking them too far up your nose at that point, now I can't like sleep comfortably on my
Oh,
pillow.
yeah, I'm sleeping with two fucking things hanging out my nose.
Look, better
That'll
to
do
be
it.
safer than sorry. Yeah,
I don't know what it is, Nick. I've always had issues with sleep, and I've talked to you about it quite a lot, probably more than
yeah.
anyone.
Thank
And
you
I
for
just don't know
trusting
what it
me.
is. Well, you get it. I think you get it. But like, I don't know. Like, I'm thinking about going to see a doctor, but I don't really know what a doctor's going to do because they're just going to tell me to get off your phone before bed, an hour before bed. Don't eat, don't drink, don't do this. I'm like, can you
Just
just
real
give me a
negative
pill?
energy.
I
Yeah.
just want a
It's
pill.
like, know this, know that. No, what about
I
yes,
know.
Michael? Where's my support, Michael?
They're going to be like, how's your sleep hygiene? I'm going to be like, it's not
Terrible,
great.
but I don't want to
Okay.
change.
I don't want to change. I like the way that I've got it right now. I just want to take a little pill at the end of the night and go straight to bed
Yeah.
and then wake up. Like, can you just do that? Oh, but it might lead to dementia. I don't give a fuck if it
You
leads
won't
to
know it if you
dementia.
have it.
I won't remember. I won't know.
Yes.
So,
Is it the cruelest way that everyone who loves you can experience your gentle decline? Absolutely, but I won't
exactly.
know.
Exactly. So I don't know, but I don't know if I'm going to go see a doctor. I've started doing this, Maggie, uh, when I was talking
Beer.
about this last year, I think, Maggie Beer, no, Maggie Noodles, she mentioned that you can get this over-the-counter sleeping aid called Rest of It, and that's the sponsor of
Today's episode.
What's
that promo code, Michael?
Rest of It says Sleepy Boys 50 at checkout.
Sleepy Boys 50 get 50% off at checkout. Two
and
pills
so
for the price of one.
And even last night, I took double what I should have been taking, and I still couldn't sleep.
So you had 3 hours sleep, but you were just at home, like you hadn't been out at night. This was like I went to bed at midi and just toss and turned.
Exactly. Well, the other thing is because we're doing dry June, so we've done one. Yesterday was the first day of the month that we're not drinking, and I do kind of suspect that I kind of do rely on like a couple of drinks at the end of the night to help me get into a relaxed, like sleepy state.
That's interesting because we've talked previously about how much better you slept after you stopped drinking.
But it was after a while,
you have to get through the hump.
You have to get through the thing.
Yeah.
Which sucks. Anyway.
Well, I hope it's better. I hope you improve. Just don't go crazy on the caffeine today, otherwise you'll end up in the boat again.
Sure.
Okay, takes a big gulp of cold brew. Welcome to Deep Thought, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Pleasure to be here. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me. Well, I'm delighted. Thanks for the invite. This is a podcast in which we talk to ourselves over and over again, sometimes with Michael's involvement and sometimes just as like a skit. This is a podcast, and thank you for being here. Oh, you're welcome. And I'm stuck in a loop.
This is a podcast, and you're not.
Yes. Sitting through the internet with me this week, my friend Michael.
Hello.
And I'm Nick. Hello. Lovely to be here. Oh, hey King.
Here.
Hey King. I'm bringing it back. I'm going to do it until it's too ironic and it circles back around to really sincere.
Never went away. Always fun.
Away.
Harmony.
This is the Gregorian chant section. Everyone at home join in. D flat. How close do you reckon you are to perfect pitch?
3.
3? God, that's pretty close.
Lauren said to me yesterday, she was like, oh, guess what? And I was just like, 11. And she was like, what? And I was like, it was a guess. She's like, no, guess again. And I was like, giraffe. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, okay.
She's not a yes and, is that what you're saying?
No.
She's a no what?
Went right over her head. You're more of a not know what kind of gal. What were we doing? What were we talking about?
We hadn't yet talked about anything, to be honest, which is, par for this course. You were in Sydney recently. You went traveling. You went to a cons.
Yes, I had. I had my birthday last week. Thanks for remembering,
Happy birthday,
everyone.
I did actually send you a card.
You did? Did you actually send that?
No, I wrote a card and then I sealed it and then I unsealed it just to sort of mimic the experience.
That's pretty fun. I like that. So it's on your fridge.
I literally have it in my drawer here.
My birthday card's on your fridge.
Yeah.
No, I like that.
Because I think ultimately, and like this is something that I've settled on after being overseas for a while. Like there were a few years there where I sincerely tried to actually send a card, but deliveries are so unreliable, and you have to be thinking like a month in advance. And I'm sorry, I'm just not that aware of most people's birthdays in my life.
Yeah.
But if you go out and you buy a card and you handwrite a card and you seal it up again, you've done like 95% of the gesture right there.
And in some ways it's better because now you don't have to like throw away a card, because a card's like one of those things. It's like, oh, it's sentimental. Like you feel weird throwing it away. But at some point you do have to throw away a birthday card because what are you going to do? Keep it forever?
I mean, you kind of teed me up here sort of perfectly.
Oh boy.
I'm going to open this drawer, and before I open this drawer, I just want you to agree not to make fun of me. Otherwise,
are you going to open a little drawer?
I'm not going to open this drawer. But I need you to say up front, this is a normal
You want
thing
immunity.
I want immunity. I want to give me the survivor idol.
Okay. You got
I'm
it.
not being voted off this podcast today.
Oh, I think we know where this is going.
So this is my paperwork file. This is, where receipts and bills and
God, this is going to be tougher than
all
I
those
thought.
kind of things. And just here at the back of this, I don't know if you can see this top section up here, but this is every card I've received in the past
Really
10 years of
wanna
living
make
here in New
fun
Zealand.
of this. Oh no, he's really got it. He's got it. All right.
Here's some Christmas.
So you've got a binder full of birthday cards that you've received over the years.
Yeah, birthday,
That's what
Christmas.
we're listening to, the rustling.
Birthday, Christmas card.
Birthday and Christmas.
Here's one here.
Oh
There's
no.
a nice one with a cat on it. Here's one
You
with a couple
poor
of nuts.
No.
There's some from my parents. Just looking for one.
So
Looking for one here from
lonely.
Michael. I'm surely there'd be one from my friend Michael here and somewhere in this book.
Checking in the back.
In the back, if I look further back in time.
Yeah. Might be.
No, I'm not seeing any here
Wow.
from Michael. But maybe it's just got lost in the post.
Maybe throw them away.
Yeah. So yes, I do. Look, I've got wedding invitations here for, events that I went to, notes that people have left me. Is it sentimental? Absolutely. Is it sort of nice to know if you send me a card that I value it enough to hold on to it?
Of your binder on that desk.
That binder is also full of other paperwork.
Okay.
But
It would have been so funny if it wasn't.
yeah,
though.
send me a card, everyone, and it'll go in the pack.
Great sound design on this episode.
Yeah, the foley, incredible. Okay, go ahead, Michael. Take your shot.
Nothing to say. My heart's just kind of breaking for you because it's obviously, you're obviously quite lonely over there. And, you're just holding on to any kind of piece of home and connection from home. So,
But these are cards from people here. I mean, yes, there's some from family, but most of the stuff that I've received in New Zealand is from people here. So it's not even like tastes of home.
no one's buying that, Nick.
Okay.
No one's buying that.
Okay, sure.
Why would someone give you a card
Why would someone give
in
me
New
a
Zealand.
card?
in New Zealand?
Yeah, I guess you're right. You found the hole in my lie. I can't bluff my way out of this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
No, that's okay. That's okay, man.
Anyway,
yeah,
you had a birthday. Happy birthday.
Had birthday dinner. That was fun. Ben and I cooked some Spanish food. It was
Yeah.
interesting because we invited about just a small group, 6 or 7 people, and we're cooking all day, and we had like little tapas, like appetizer kind of things coming out, and by the time we had some people come over early. Well, I'll get the food going, get some appetizers. By the time everyone came around, it was 7, 8. We couldn't be fucked anymore, so we just we basically stopped.
Sorry, what time did you start?
Oh, I mean, I started cooking the slow roast lamb at 2 p.m.
Yeah, gosh.
So doing that, but that's part of the main. But by the time we couldn't be fucked, we were half in the bag.
Yeah.
So we basically we just basically stopped serving food after the first course.
Yeah.
But there was plenty of leftovers for me and Lauren.
Yeah. I
for
mean,
the
that
next
worked
few
out
days.
perfectly.
But yeah, then then went out on my birthday day. Lauren took me out for an amazing dinner, Mauritian food.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
Never
I didn't know.
even been close to that, I don't think.
No, I didn't. Do you reckon you could point to Mauritius on a map?
I would point to an island, but I'm not sure I'd point to those islands.
Give a guess.
Mauritius, I'm guessing off the coast of Africa?
Yep. Yeah.
But
It's just near Madagascar. It's
Yeah,
near
right.
Madagascar.
You're right.
But it's one of those things like Mauritian cuisine.
Yeah, wouldn't have a clue. What is it?
Well, it's interesting.
Lemur
It's got a bit of
heavy.
Oh yeah. A lot of lemurs. You got chameleon
Oh,
stew.
good.
Yeah.
How do you know? Because it probably just looks like any other stew, right?
Yeah. Oh, nice. Very nice.
That was a fridge joke. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very good. But yeah, it was like curry leaf, so it had like a bit of an Indian kind of flavor, but like vaguely African. Also, this was kind of like a a fancier restaurant, so they're doing like a modern kind
Yeah.
of. So it's hard to, but incredible food. And then we went to Sydney the next day. We saw we went and saw Air play. You know,
Lovely.
that French band. Saw them play at the Opera House. I had an interesting interaction at that concert because it's kind of a sit down.
Yeah, Opera House is
concert.
like an incredible venue, but it's not like a mosh pit. It's like very
No.
much you've gone to a show.
It's a performance.
Yes.
Yes. It's a bit more hoity-toity.
Yeah.
And so we came. We went to dinner with Andy and his partner Ash before, and we were running a little bit late. Well, not late. We were kind of pushing it. So we're coming from Chinatown in Sydney to
Getting over.
the harbour.
Yeah.
So we get into an Uber and there's lots of traffic because it's vivid. So we get there and we've had this bottle of wine that we had from dinner. We're kind of like running down the road, just try and take swigs before we can get into the show,
Yeah.
And so we get in time and they'll go to get seated. And I said, I'll get us the drinks. You guys go get seated.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting, I'm getting drinks for 4 people here.
Yeah.
And then the wine prices at the Opera House are just
insanity. Yeah.
insane. So I worked out that, if Lauren and I are drinking wine, it's probably just going to be better for me to just buy a $70 bottle of wine.
Yeah.
Between the two of us, but you can't take in glass.
Yeah.
So I'm like asking them to give me the biggest glasses and pour like huge pints of wine for us.
Yeah.
Which they agreed to.
Yeah.
And this is, people are kind of last call. So there's like a guy behind me, right?
And
as I'm getting all these drinks.
It's like at the airport where they do the boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, doing that. And
Yeah.
it's like, it's getting, more frequent.
Yeah.
Then there's a guy behind me and, everyone's kind of rushing to get their last drinks before they close the doors. And he's seen me with 2 pints of wine and, a couple of beers for the other guys and stuff. And he makes a comment. He's just like, is there going to be anything left for everyone else? And it really annoyed. I was a little bit like, I'd had a few wines already at dinner, but it just really pissed me off that he said that.
Yeah.
And I said to him, that's something my dad would say.
Yeah.
He was like a little bit older.
Yeah.
And then he says, do I look like your dad?
Okay.
Which is a weird thing to say.
Uh-huh.
But then I said something even weirder. And I
You're
don't
not
know.
as sexy.
I almost said that. So I said, that's something my dad would say.
Yeah.
He was like, do I look like your dad? And I said, you wish. And then I walked off. I walked off with 2 pints of wine and a couple of beers, like it was like a mic drop moment.
Yeah, like cool guys
And
don't
then
look
I
at
was-
explosions, just like
I was
sauntering
just
off.
thinking, as I was walking away, going, "What the? Did I just flirt with this man? I have no idea what just happened." It didn't make any sense, but it was like
I think purely from like context and delivery, I think that plays like a mic drop. But I'm sure that part of his feeling as you walked off was like, what? Like,
I mean, confusion is a weapon.
confusion is victory from your book. Yeah.
I would say so.
Yeah.
But it was just like, what did I just say? Anyway,
What did he look like?
he kind of looked, he's like 55, kind of like a trendy kind of guy. He might have been gay, I think, maybe.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
So maybe there was a bit of flirtatious energy there.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was fun. And Air were fantastic. Played Moon Safari in full. And
Okay, nice.
Did two encores.
Did you
Great.
did you have any like tracks in the back pocket that you're like, I'd love if they pulled out X or I'd love if they pulled out Y?
Well, we knew that they were going to play Moon Safari in full, so
Gotcha.
that was what you got, and then the
was tick,
encores
yeah.
were kind of other
Yeah.
pieces. But it's a bit tough for them because they're doing encores, but it's very chill music, and
Yeah.
not a lot of them are real like closing,
Yeah.
big
Vibes,
big
yeah.
pieces, yeah. But they made it work. Lots of like they had a live drama and lots of electronic weirdness going on, but it's great.
So you said this one random dude was older. What was the crowd mix? Was it like young 30s or is it like 50-year-olds? Like who goes to an Air concert at the Opera House?
Yeah, it's a good question. It was more like, yeah, I would say the demographic was more like 35 to 55.
Yeah.
I think Air now getting on like they would be mid 50s.
They're
themselves.
70s, yeah.
Moon Safari came out in 1998, I think. So yeah, they've been
right.
going for a while. But yeah, like just like kind of like a nice crowd, I would say. Very nice crowd. More like,
but a bit older,
sophisticated. Like maybe I don't know,
trendier,
but not like hipstery.
Yeah, I mean a lot of the Opera House tickets go on sale early to Opera House members as well. So there's probably, like, I've seen Andrew Bird at the Opera House, which was incredible. Like, if there's ever a place to listen to a violinist, it's in an opera house, right? But I just heard from people talking, just eavesdropping effectively on the people around, that a lot of people turn up to those shows because they're Sydney Opera House members, not because they even particularly know the artist. So they just go along because they get members price tickets and they're like, well, let's just see who this person is. So I'd be very curious how like French synth pop Air duo kind of plays to the 60-year-old white rich boomer crowd that didn't know anything about them before they walked in.
Yeah, I think it would be a pleasant show. I think it's like it's not. There are moments because they're not singers and they don't necessarily sing that much on the tracks, but there are elements where there are parts where they do sing, and they're not. It's kind of like Radiohead. Like if you show my dad a Radiohead concert, because Tom York is not necessarily singing in tune the whole time, like perfectly in tune, like a Michael Bublé would sing, right? Sure. Like pitch perfect, basically all the time. Yeah. I think. Yeah, there might be elements without what the hell is this? But
it must have been the Moon-Shaped Pool tours where Tom York would either start those sets with Daydreaming or with Burn the Witch. And Burn the Witch is so high falsetto that often for the live performances of that song, for like at least 2/3 of it, he's just kind of like singing, like he's not even like, and he's sliding around these notes in a way that I'm just like
kind of finding it. Yeah.
I mean, that's not what. No, it's not technical. It's not really like, he's warming up. But that's a hard song. That's a hard song to start with. And like, I feel this protectiveness of like people coming along where it's like, just wait, he'll get into it.
Yeah. I remember there was that great concert that I had on. I think I had it on DVD. 2003 Glastonbury, when they're doing Hail to the Thief, I think. And I think, what was it? It was maybe the Gloaming. They do a great version of the Gloaming on that.
The live one's always better than the album one.
Sorry, this is so nerdy. But
fuck 'em.
There was I remember playing that at home and my dad coming in, and there's an element. There's a part where Tom York's hitting that not quite hitting that falsetto note, but you take it, you kind of build it into the performance or whatever. And Dad was like, what, this is like garbage. This is, and I had that same kind of just let him. You gotta let him go a little bit.
It's a choice. It's a choice. Yeah, you just don't get it, Dad.
It's rough. It's rock and roll, man.
But you look great today. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed Air. That sounds great.
Yeah. So how about this Trump character?
God, if this means that 2025 is like the end of some villain arcs and we can get a little bit of like cathartic closure on this past decade, I'm going to be really into it, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, he's a convicted felon now. It doesn't stop him being president, but it is the first time that anything like this has happened in American history, and I was very excited. I don't know what your immediate reaction was, but I was surprised.
Well, I don't have like an emotional response to stuff like this, and it's very hard to know what's going to stick with Trump. I guess that's the thing. Sure. He's so like slippery.
Fucker. Yeah.
And so I mean, I guess my first thought and maybe question to you is like, does this not just make him a martyr and strengthen his base, before an election. Is it even bad for him?
I think that there is unquestionably a portion of the Republican voter base which is in the bag. Like, they will follow him anywhere regardless of anything. They're completely devoted, and doesn't matter what happens now, they will always follow him. That said, the polling has suggested in the lead up, when they were asking hypotheticals, it's a bit early now to know the aftermath of it, but people did say that if convicted, he would not receive their vote anymore. And so I think this is more about the undecideds, the people who might have considered voting for him again, but now it's crossed a line. It's a bit surprising to think that there are people still on the fence like that, but the data suggests there is. And then I think finally there is the affirmative democratic influence of it, where you got to remember that voting is a choice in American elections, where you're not required to turn up and cast a vote. So I think that if it helps, it could also be from the motivational side on the left, encouraging people who perhaps don't love Biden as much, or, who were disinterested or not paying attention to the politics and it's a blur and they're not really, listening to his speeches or worried about the, fascistic agenda that he's outlined. But you get all of the newspapers across the entire country printing a front page story, guilty on 34 counts, and that pierces, I think, through to a voter base that might be disengaged, and encourages, if and when he, is on the ticket, them to show up and vote against.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, just the kind of the casual observer of politics, the person that doesn't really have a strong opinion, but maybe, seeing, as you say, the front pages of the newspapers on the stands as they walk down the street, just kind of seeping into their subconscious, going, just attaching Trump with guilty or Trump with convicted criminal, just passively might tip that.
I mean, you can only hope that there is. The craziness about all of this, right, is there's multiple levels of it. I don't think conceptually I'm against the idea that someone who's been convicted of a crime can run for president, on the basis of it is a ward against like a dictatorship kind of thing, where if there was a situation in which a president pursued, illegitimate charges or imprisoned someone of the opposition, you don't want a system where that then prevents them from running if it means that a dictator stays in power. So I'm not against the idea that someone who's been convicted can run. Did I say that clearly? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I do think that if you're convicted of electoral fraud, effectively, of hush money to swing an election, to rig an outcome where you improperly gain power, that specific clause seems to me like it should be disqualifying for future elections. Because if you...
Wait, so who is he hushing? This is separate to Stormy Daniels?
No, this is a Stormy Daniels thing.
What's wrong with hushing someone?
So the hush money was paid to prevent the story getting out before the election.
What's wrong with it's because it's tied to election? I mean, you can technically hush someone, can't you?
The actual crime here was financial fraud, right? To ensure the campaign continued successfully. The fact that it was hush money paid to a sex worker is sort of irrelevant, because it was the financial crimes and the paper trail that was the actual thing that they got convicted on, right? The knowledge and the willful fraud committed. The fact that the money went elsewhere to hide that up is sort of secondary, but immoral, of course.
Okay.
But yeah, so the the thing to me is that if you've been convicted of a crime to assure yourself a win in a presidency, that specific conviction seems to me like it should be disqualifying for future things. Like if you've proven that you're not able to play fairly, I'm not sure that you should be able to run again and be like, no, this time it'll be real. Like, yeah. I don't know.
So he's just reading here that he's going to be sentenced on July 11.
Yeah.
So what?
July or June?
July 11th is the sentence date, and he can't appeal it until after the sentencing.
Yeah.
So what the offences each carry a maximum of 4 years jail each, but New York sentencing standards mean prison is unlikely.
Yeah.
Probation or home incarceration are some other sentencing options.
Yeah.
If he's jailed, he can still run for president, though he would not be able to vote. In a Reuters poll conducted immediately after the verdict, more than a third of Republicans said they were more likely to support Trump in light of the jury's decision. There you go.
I mean, that seems relatively low as a number. Sorry, go ahead.
Among independent registered voters, 25% said they were less likely to vote for Trump. 18% said they were more likely.
Yeah. So a general negative swing then.
It's just fucking crazy that we're doing this again with Trump and Biden. I mean, it's so hard to take a step back, and just look at where we are again. We're like, oh, we're doing these two dickheads again. You know?
I mean, it's we all know that Biden has his flaws. I don't think. I mean, age is part of it, but I think generally speaking, he's a lot more stable and
definitely
has his wits about him. Like some of the speeches and things that Trump has said now post conviction are just word salad. Like it's not even.
Oh yeah.
Like he's not well.
No,
but
he just did the same. Like even after this, I saw a clip of him after this conviction coming out. He just says the same shit over again. Oh, it's rigged. This is a disgrace. The judge is a disgrace.
Yeah.
You know, he just says the same things on a loop. But like, you're not saying anything. Like you're not saying anything. You just say the same stuff. You can substitute whatever problem he's in, whatever scandal, whatever issue, and he'll still just say the same stuff.
I mean, to me, it's symptomatic of like an actual brain dysfunction, like of a dementia type thing, because there's plenty of people now, like psychiatrists and things, speaking to the mannerisms, the slurring, the substitution of words and sounds and things as evidence of deterioration, which is something that we know that his father had. But yeah, I mean, he's already been nominated, so he's going to be on the ticket.
So if he doesn't get re-elected this election, is he done? He's done now, right?
I mean, there's nothing stopping him running again in another 4 years.
Really?
Because you can still, I mean, this is the thing, you can only be president twice. He's been president once. If he doesn't get it this time again, he's still technically capable. Their problem is the Republican base has become such a fanatic adherent behind this man that anyone who tries to step up and counter him then runs into a crowd of his followers who will shoot them down. It's I don't know how you get out of it.
You almost want to be like, all right, let's just let him have this one, right?
Oh, God.
Let him have 4 years, and then that way we don't have to like deal with this again, you know? Let's give it to them.
There is similar train of thought there regarding the disqualification stuff. Like there's been talk in a couple of places where ballot measures went up to disqualify him because he led an insurrection effectively. And there is some provisions where if you led an insurrection against the United States, you're not eligible to be to run for a position of power, which is like an old Civil War or post-Civil War law, right? And a few states tried this to be like, Trump led it, so we're not going to put him on our state ballots. And mostly those state courts, because of course they then got sued about that, most of the courts tend to have disagreed and said that that's not appropriate. And I think at that kind of, I think on that subject matter, there are a lot of people saying that disqualifying him from eligibility so that he loses is going to be worse for the state of American democracy than him being on every ballot and losing properly, because it would just give him, it would give the supporters and him the kind of rigged kernel of grit to launch their outrage on and keep this thing persisting. And that perhaps the best way to see him gone is for him to be on the ballot and to just roundly lose again everywhere, because otherwise, I don't know, he hangs around.
I mean, where are these, these FBI guys that killed JFK and faked the moon landing? Like, where are these guys when you need them? Like, do you reckon there's any high-level talks of like, let's take him out and blame it on Putin? Maybe?
No. But this is not what you just asked, but the thing that I have found interesting in the discussion of imprisonment is that the Secret Service has a duty to protect the president. So there have been reports that the Secret Service has had to explore conceptually what their role and duty is to protect the president if the president's in prison, which means sending Secret Service members into jail to be around a convicted president, which is crazy, right? That's a level of conflict between the sworn duties of the Secret Service and the nation's judicial system, which we've never seen before.
Yeah. I mean, this is all evidence that we're living in a simulation as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I mean, the alien overlords that created this game they've jumped the shark, really.
Yeah. This is some 3 body problem shit.
Yeah.
You won't understand that because you haven't watched the show, or read the books.
No, I just said yeah.
But I'm glad that you supported. Do you remember the 2016 pod that we did, the Rush pod, when on the night of the election, where if that was when the universe is split and the simulation kicked in, we were like, sorry, what just happened?
Yeah, I do. I remember that. I remember I took a selfie of the TV with myself to remember. I also remember, I was wearing my Obama t-shirt as well.
Can you everyone listening at home, just open up your podcast and have a look at the chapter title here, because there is that picture of Michael in his Obama shirt in front of the TV.
I'll dig it up.
Yeah, please send it through.
I also remember staying up to watch the which I'm glad I did, because I remember I had uni very early the next day, and the inauguration of Trump was at like 3 a.m. and I was like, I think I need to watch this, and I stayed up all night and just watched the inauguration, watched Michelle Obama just very begrudgingly hand over the reins to Melania and stuff. A crazy part of history. Yeah,
strange times that we're in. I mean, the other side of this as well is we've talked about the American democracy and the Electoral College and things as well, but it's so crazy that if they had like literally any other democratic system where there wasn't an Electoral College, where like popular vote was the meaningful vote, then this shit would never have happened, because there was like 3 million more votes for Hillary, and there was, such a landslide in Biden's favor last time as well. But it's all up in the air because of this crazy, like, gerrymandered Electoral College, like, democratic system, which is so undemocratic.
It's topsy-turvy. I just saw Civil War.
Oh, I need to see that. That's Alex Garland, right? Yeah.
Alex Garland. Cool film. It doesn't... I won't give away too much. But, I mean, it's obviously set in an alternate reality that seems very tangible and within arm's reach.
Yeah.
A divided America, with alliances being, the Western Alliance with, I think Texas and California, and then you have the other, I can't remember what they call it, but the Florida Alliance or Allegiance, whatever.
Yeah.
But it does kind of paint this I don't know, it's a very interesting fractured picture of where we could go, and it just seems like where we're heading. It just, I don't know, it's it's a very unnerving film. I mean, I would kind of wish they went into the politics of how they got there a bit more. It was less about that and more about dealing with the situation,
present day rather than lead up.
Right. But yeah, it's sorry.
I was just going to say the coverage of that film was a little bit mixed in terms of some people liked it and some people didn't. Specifically in America, I think. Do you see what was divisive about it? Why some people would or wouldn't respond either executionally or thematically to that story?
Not really, actually, because I was expecting a little bit of that, and I'm glad it didn't go there. But I think it would have been very easy for Garland to lean into, kind of, even if it not saying it explicitly, but this is the racist Republicans doing this, and then this is liberal America who's pushing for the right reasons, and they didn't do that.
Yeah,
they kept it a little bit more ambiguous. There was hints of it, but it wasn't explicitly rednecks versus liberal types. So I actually don't know what thematically what would have been what would have been an issue for anyone, but
I think it's just because if you're living in that kind of world, right, maybe it just rings very real, I guess. Whereas if we're a bit more removed from it, maybe there's a little bit less sensitivity to the way they're depicting, certain sides or conflicts or state allegiances, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. How about this? I had a very interesting experience in that movie. Just to tangent, so we get into this movie. It's a packed cinema. It's a Monday night, cheap movie tickets. Everyone's going.
Yeah.
I bought tickets in the afternoon, so there's 2 seats left, and so we're right on the edge of the row, and there's 2 seats next to us, and the film's just about to start. I'm like, oh, maybe we get away with this. Maybe we get a couple of extra seats and we can scooch over a little bit.
Buffer, yeah.
And then as the doors start to close, we see 2 people coming down the aisle. We're like, damn it. And then as they get closer, Lauren goes, oh, hey. And it's this person that Lauren especially has a bit of an issue with.
Oh.
Yeah. And it was a very awkward movie to sit through, because I was sitting next to this person, and then we were doing this thing of trying to make conversation and try and be polite, but we know that there's this weird energy in the room.
So you know this person, you've met this person before, or is this?
Yeah. Right. And there's been some issues, and it's drifted away.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit more removed from it, but it was palpable.
Uh-huh.
And then, I'm trying to make conversation, trying to be polite, but also not be you
got to walk the line.
Too polite.
Yeah.
And then it was this, I could feel it from them as well.
Yeah.
And there was, just before the film start, they said, this is how awkward the conversation was going. So have you seen this film? And I was like, the film that we're about to watch? And they were like, oh, yeah. I could feel that, fuck. I'm just,
that's quite funny, to be honest.
So awkward. It was very funny.
But
they bolted as soon as the movie finished. They went bang straight out. It was great.
Good to see you. Bye. Have a good see you.
Yeah. Bye. Oh, have a good one. Yeah. And they had also one of these ones with had a woman behind us. There's a lot of Nick Offerman's the president in this film, Civil War. And there's a lot of rhetoric around, God bless America, even though he's, a corrupt dictator,
Yeah.
And there's a lot of patriotic stuff at the start just to set the scene. God bless America.
Yeah.
And then there's this woman behind me again. Every time they say God bless America, we know he's the bad guy from the start, right?
Yeah.
The woman go, oh no. She's like, oh man. And they're doing this fake laugh, ha, You know, like, we get it. We get it. You know what we know that you're so smart.
You've understood
you're above
the
this,
messaging.
right?
Yeah.
I just couldn't not do it. Had to let everyone know. I can't stand that shit.
Oh yeah. Just ducking back one topic to the icing out someone where it's like awkward. I have also been asked historically not to engage. Like I've been told that we're not interacting with this person anymore. You know,
you have to be an ally.
You have to be an ally with this, which it's not my normal. I'm a people pleaser. You know, like I'll make conversations with most people, and it's not my normal mode. But I do like I can do it, and I can understand why. But I would also be awkward in that situation, I think, because I would be fighting the internal need to be like, how you going? You know, what's that? A chopped up mint? You know,
100%.
And then I would feel the presence of my ally on the other side with the stiffness and the coldness of like, why are you speaking this much to this person?
Yes, exactly. That was exactly right. And I honestly was doing that. I think I said something like, I think there was talk of chopped up, and I was like, I'll try not to make too much noise. I've already taken the wrapper off, but I'm not going to take a bite before the movie starts. Like doing shit like that. Like, just awful.
I think that what we're saying here is that we're great people. And
we're great people.
We put ourselves into these situations because of our loyalty to others. And actually, that should be celebrated.
Yes, we're the opposite of sociopaths.
We're the opposite.
What's the opposite? What's the opposite of a sociopath?
An unsociopath.
An empath. An empath.
Probably an empath, yeah. I have here an oldish bit of science news, but I just feel like it is so deep 40 that it would be negligent if we didn't at least touch on it. All right. So let's just fling a little bit of science news into the wall.
Great, and I'll go piss.
Play the jingle.
It's that time. Time for science news.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
What a great jingle.
Them.
Everyone involved. As previously mentioned, this is old news, and everyone listening, you probably know what I'm talking about here. But we just have to talk about Voyager, Michael. Voyager 1.
Love it.
I think it's just worth reflecting here on how fucking cool science is sometimes. So, brief bit of history here. Voyager 1, that's NASA's spacecraft, which is far, far, far out into the distance out of the solar system, and the longest running and most distant spacecraft in history. Stopped working, stopped responding to signals from NASA, and they discovered that the memory had been corrupted. Well, as you probably know, I assume you do know this, Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they singled out the code that was corrupted, and they were going to move it around to a different part of the memory and just basically work around the broken part, which meant recoding this thing from a distance remotely. The spacecraft is now 24 billion kilometers away, which means that sending a radio signal is like 22 and a half hours out and another 22 and a half hours to get information back. So they fired off these bits of code to rewrite the existing memory at a distance and sort of refactor around the broken hardware. And then, sure enough, it works. It started responding to signals again. It started sending off information again. And 24 billion kilometers away, the furthest and most distant spacecraft man's ever launched, we're still getting data from outside, of the interstellar journey. Like, isn't science fucking amazing?
And this is 1970s technology, by the way.
Ancient technology. Ancient.
50 years ago, basically.
Yeah.
You know, and we're still able to fix a problem that is billions of miles away.
Yeah.
And outdated technology, you know?
Yeah. And
think about how far technology has come since 1977 or whatever.
Yeah.
You know? And how far it's gone, and we're still able to use it. Crazy.
It's a very good point. I'm going to look up here what Voyager 1's hardware actually is, because I'm sure it'll be something like, 12 kilobytes of data or something like that.
Yeah.
Because, they didn't have any of that modern technology.
When it was launched, the internet wasn't even a thing.
Yeah. it is remarkable. It is remarkable. And a real testament, I think, as we said, no one's ever said, NASA, what are those boffins? No, obviously they're the smartest people, working in this space, but no pun intended. But the fact that they're able to repair this thing and find a workaround and still maintain communication is incredible. And what an achievement for humanity to still have access to something so far away.
Yeah, I love it so much. Like I like to think of these kind of milestones or accomplishments that that NASA especially is like making, is like you're zooming out and just seeing us as this like tiny little civilization, like you might see in like a petri dish, like kind of almost like you are the simulators of Earth, and you're like, oh, they've made it a little bit further, like just kind of seeing it on a real micro scale.
Yeah.
I don't know. It makes me it makes me feel really I don't know, not emotional, but like proud.
Well, this thing is traveling at 16.9 kilometers per second. Kilometers per second. Like, it is now so fast moving. Like, I just find even the fundamentals of that kind of communication impressive. Like, how do you manage to maintain a signal with something that is traveling at that speed at that distance? Like, how have we done that? I've just found a little breakdown here in the Wikipedia, which is actually a hint more detail and sort of more impressive. So I might just quickly rapid fire through that. So that started transmitting unreadable data on November 14, 2023. In December, they announced that the flight data system was unable to use one of its telemetry modulation units, preventing it from transmitting scientific data. On March 24, they announced they'd made significant progress interpreting what they were still receiving. They reported in April that the failure was likely the memory bank, one of the 3 onboard computer systems, probably because it was struck by a high-energy particle or simply wore out due to age. And it was just repeating this sequence of ones and zeros and indicating the system was sort of stuck. And they tried rebooting it, but the communication still didn't work. They could still receive commands from Earth and were sending a carrier tone indicating it was operational. And they were able to then send commands to alter the modulation of the tone, confirming it was responsive. So then they started this program of rearranging that code away from the part that was defective, 3% of which was corrupted beyond repair. Because the memory, this is the specific part here, because the memory is corrupted, the code needed to be relocated, but there was no place for an extra 256 bits. The total memory of the spacecraft was 69.63 kilobytes. Absolutely tiny. So to make it work, the engineers deleted unused code, like the code used to transmit data from Jupiter that cannot be used at the current transmission rate. All the data from the anomaly period is lost, so anything that happened once it started failing. But now it's back up and running, and it's returned science data from 2 of the 4 instruments, with work towards the others ongoing. Like, just amazing.
I love it. Go Voyager 1.
Go Voyager 1. Go say hi to the aliens for us. If you've enjoyed this podcast, well, that's lovely to hear. And we hope that if you ever get the chance to travel out of the galaxy, you'll pack up an episode of the Deep Thought podcast with you and drop it off on your way to, the places far beyond our earthly understanding. Let the laughs and morals and stories of deep thought live on in eternity in the great blackness of the world beyond. If you want to get in touch with us before that, you can, of course, send an email to deepthought@gmail.com. You can reach out to us on Instagram, on Facebook. You can listen to us on Spotify, and our songs are up there too. And you can rate us there too. Give us the old 5 stars. Always helpful. Always appreciated. Same too on your Apple Music, Apple Podcasts. Give us a rate. It doesn't hurt anyone, and might make yourself feel a little better. Feel a little better. Might make yourself feel a little better.
So well said. So we got another. We're up to 10 on Spotify now. You can get the thing.
Yeah.
People giving us. We've got 10 5-star reviews, which is quite good.
That's very good.
There was someone who we were on 9 for ages. So
Yeah.
thank you to whoever did that.
Thank you.
Just speaking of, just quickly, Nick, this is just a thought that I just had.
Yeah.
So, as I said, Lauren and I are going to do dry June, right? Not drinking during June. There are 5 weekends in June this year.
That's a bit
5.
unfair.
I didn't even know that was mathematically possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking, what a month to pick.
What a month.
Booze.
What a month.
Jesus.
Oh, well.
5
You'll
weekends.
get through it. You'll feel good, and you'll get to the end of the June and be like, I'm sleeping great. I have more energy. I feel everything. And then on July 1st, you'll jump on the pod and I'll say, how are you doing? It's like, oh, had a drink. Feeling pretty different.
Yeah, I'm kind of part of me hoping to, I don't know.
Roll a bit
I do
longer.
have this vision of being not sober.
You have a vision of being not sober.
Well, I have I don't know. Part of me does would like that. I just don't drink anymore. I'm done with drinking.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's likely, but
You
it
like
would be nice.
You like the feel of that. Is it a little bit like, would you deliver that with a bit of a superior sort of thing? Like, oh, you're still doing alcohol? Oh, that's interesting.
I think it'd be more like a. I think it's more like it gives me a bit of edge,
Stand out in a crowd.
It's like, oh, what happened in your past?
I see.
know what I mean?
Like the private eye, former detective, and it's like,
Yeah.
no, used to be a cop, but
I can't. Yeah,
after the incident.
yeah, I can't anymore. Party too hard. That's my my issue, mate.
I love serious Australian, Mike. Oh, can't, mate. Can't.
Yeah. That sober me is
Bloody ripper.
just more ochre.
Yeah. Okay. Quick rec engine. Quick rec. Just a quick rec engine, please. Just a quick rec engine, please. Just a quick rec. Just a quick rec engine, please. Got it. First time. Welcome to Deep Thought's recommendation engine. Okay. I regret not being prepared last pod because there were two things that I needed to throw out that I felt immediately like an idiot for not mentioning. The first thing, Shogun, TV series Shogun, 10-episode FX series set in Japan based on a novel by someone Richard Clavel. Not Richard. Anyway, very acclaimed at the moment. Hiroyuki Sanada, incredible. Anna Sawai, incredible. Just a really, really good period set adaptation of a novel. Really beautifully shot, and really interesting because it's all about language and translation and cultural clash, and having a Englishman wash up on the shores of Japan in the 1600s and having to deal with translators translating the Portuguese he's speaking to the Japanese of the locals, and what is said and not said, what is altered by a translator. It's just beautifully done, really interesting, really compelling, and very satisfying ending. So if you're looking for that kind of flavor of historical drama TV, it's so good. It's really good.
Yeah, I did this did pique my interest. I do have one question. This could sway my willingness to watch this. What language? What are the Japanese people speaking English, and what is their accent?
So, most of the Japanese actors are speaking Japanese to each other. So all of the stuff where it's only Japanese people speaking to Japanese people is subtitled. It's just Japanese. And it's actually very painstakingly written old Japanese. Like if you're a native Japanese speaker, I understand that it sounds fusty.
Oh, wow.
Like it's not modern Japanese, it's the kind of Japanese they were speaking back then, which is
It's
really
like Shakespearean
cool. Yeah,
language or
exactly. It's like
something.
listening to Old English.
Yeah.
So that's cool. When the translators are speaking to the Englishmen, the Japanese performers speak English to them, and they speak a very neutral sort of English Japanese.
Okay.
You know, I wouldn't describe it as an American accent, and certainly the English speakers are British for the most part, just due to cast. So yeah.
Yeah, because I remember with Chernobyl, remember that miniseries? A great miniseries, but it was like, hey, the reactor's blown. Hey, comrade, the reactor's blown. Like, it's taking me out a bit.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah,
Is that traditional Ukrainian?
Yeah. No, it doesn't jar in that way. Very good series. The one that I think you actually should watch, Michael, as someone who doesn't watch TV, is Ripley.
Okay.
Have you heard or seen anything about Ripley?
You are the 11th person to tell me to watch Ripley.
Okay, great. Ripley, Andrew Scott, Netflix, 8-part miniseries. The Talented Mr. Ripley, of course, 1999 film, Jude Law, Matt Damon. This is based on the same source material, the books, but delivered in a very different way. It is probably the most beautiful TV show I've ever seen. It is black and white.
The whole thing?
The whole thing's black and white.
Little
Every
noir.
single shot is the most beautiful shot in like any other movie. But it's just it's literally just art. The composition of everything is unbelievable. I don't understand how they made it. I don't understand why people funded it. But it is incredible. It is so good, and I genuinely think it's the kind of thing that you would like because you're an art film wanker, and this is exactly that. It's just, it's just in series form. It's
Yeah,
so
really
good.
sold it to me there. Yeah,
It's funny. It's well performed. It's
people
interesting.
keep telling me to watch this.
Yeah, it's really.
I'll
good.
try.
Yeah,
I will try.
it's really good. Andrew Scott, of course. What a guy. He's on a roll at the moment.
Is he gay?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's just been cast in the new Knives Out film with Ryan Johnson.
There's a new one.
Yeah, the third one. Oh, good cast coming for that too.
Love that for me.
Anyway, that's my rec engine.
I got a quick one.
Please.
I watched a film called The Coffee Table the other night with Lauren.
Oh.
And it's a Spanish film, black comedy / horror. And look, this is not going to be a film. This is one of the most horrific movies I've ever seen, but not in the way. It's not like in your face at all. It's all kind of. It's like it's horrifying, but it's not horrifying, in a blood and guts way.
Yeah.
And look, it's probably not going to be for everyone. And Lauren, she was mentally traumatized.
Yeah.
After watching this, and so was I guess, but in a good way. And as you said earlier, I'm a bit of a wanker when it comes to this stuff. But if you've got a bit of a taste for, I don't know, something that really
Gets under your skin.
pushes, it's an incredible film. It's Spanish, but it's just come out. But it's called the Coffee Table.
Oof,
What if you get If you're a little hardcore,
Okay. If you were to analogize it to I liked
I would say
Suspiria, or I liked
it'd be like, it's like Rosemary's Baby, but like dialed up to like 11.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Well, I will not be watching that, but I hope that someone else does.
And don't read anything about it before going in.
Yeah.
So there's now a millennial saint.
Yeah, give me the
How about that?
Give me the goss on this.
So
Where was it announced? TikTok?
by the Pope. Yeah. The Pope's TikTok account.
Do you reckon there's an actual Pope TikTok? I reckon it's plausible.
Oh, that's a good question. Does he have an
He's on
Instagram?
Twitter. Or he
Let's
was on
check.
Twitter, right?
Instagram Pope. Yeah, he's on there. 9 million followers.
Ah,
And
pretty
9
low.
million and one now.
Because wait, is that because you signed up or because you put the default profile up?
No, yeah.
Default only follows like 12 people, and one of them's the Pope.
But yeah, I thought this was interesting. Obviously, like sainthood is something that well, kind of just bullshit, really, isn't it? But we haven't had a millennial saint yet. So it's a London-born teenager known as God's influencer, so in order to be a saint, you have to have 2 miracles attributed to him. So this kid, Carlo, is a London-born teenager. It looks like he's from, I don't know, Brazil or something. Died of leukemia in 2006, and he's had 2 miracles now attributed to him.
Wait. This is dumb, but I genuinely forgot that the saints have to be dead. It makes it even less plausible now, doesn't it?
Why?
In terms of doing miracles.
Well, I'll tell you about these miracles. So, a little bit backstory on this Carlos character. So, born in London, grew up in Italy, tech-savvy teenager who he created a website to document and spread the word of the Catholic faith. So he was like a tech-savvy kid. I wish everyone could see Nick's face right now.
Pure skepticism. But we do have to thank him because he used the default promo code on Squarespace, our sponsor for this week. Squarespace. Enter the promo code DEEPFORD and get 10% off a yearly subscription. Thank you, Carlos.
Died in 2006 of leukemia. His final wish was said to be buried in Assisi, the birthplace of St. Francis. Already a little bit creepy for this kid to be like a teenager to be using his tech skills for spreading the word of God, but that's okay. So in his tomb, people could come and pay tribute, and there was an online live stream of his body. And then there was a
wait. There was an online live stream of his body.
Yeah, I guess so. It's a thing. He was a bit of a celeb
of his body. Like he just died and his body was out for show, or like his grave,
open casket or something.
His body.
I wonder if they put a wig on him if it had leukemia in the open casket. Sorry, it's a genuine question. The first miracle attributed to Carlo in 2020 involved a young Brazilian boy who was unable to keep his food down due to a serious birth defect. So his mother started praying to this Carlo character who had died, and then his mother, Carlo's mother, sent like items of this young boy to the mother of the Brazilian boy who was sick as well but still alive.
So the saint's mother sent it to the ill kid's mother. Yeah,
right. And then just like an item of an item that he owned, and then the boy remarkably recovered, and then that happened again with someone else. So now it's irrefutable. Once you have 2. So the second miracle is the healing of a woman from Costa Rica. She sustained a head trauma from cycling. Her mother prayed to Carlos's tomb. Doctor said she had a low chance of survival. And then after just praying, she just made a miraculous recovery and was discharged. So then the Pope was like, obviously, I can't. Now this is undeniable because there's been 2 of them.
Now we know.
So now we've got this. I mean, the picture of this kid. You got this idea of what a saint is. Yeah. And the picture, which is a real picture of this huge shrine that they've put to him in the Vatican. I'll just send this to you now, Nick.
If you open up your podcast player, it's on the chapter title now. Have a look at this photo.
Because he's kind of just wearing like a soccer jersey or something.
Oh, yeah.
I know, isn't that weird?
It is a bit weird when he's wearing like a V-neck polo top.
Yeah, it just looks like some kid.
It looks like a Facebook profile, but then they've done
Yeah, it does.
the saint background where they like color it all in blue and give him a bit of a
Yeah.
tiny halo. But
Yeah,
it's weird seeing
exactly,
like a 2006 era
I know.
hairstyle on it.
I know it's bizarre.
This is like if
But-
someone in our like graduation year at school,
Totally.
just ended up accidentally being a saint afterwards, where it's like, wow, don't take a photo from me in 2006. I mean, that was
Well, he would've
not a style high point for me.
No, like, and then you're just etched in history,
Yeah.
like that. With like I mean, what were you wearing in 2006?
Oh, I mean, basically what this guy had, just my year
You wish,
12
buddy.
jersey. Yeah. It does look sincerely like an Onion photo, like a Photoshop from the Onion, where they just stuck a kid in the photo of a Catholic thing, but it's crazy that's the guy. I mean,
all those guys on the front, you've got the big picture of Carlo there, and then 12 older men just kind of staring up at it. You got to imagine they're fucking hard as a rock.
yeah, I mean, they're heartbroken. Like, just why do they have to go? We lost another good boy.
I didn't say heartbroken. Oh, right. Okay. I got you now. Yeah. I thought you misheard me. I was like, did you get my penis?
Yeah, I did. Penis reference. Joke,
yeah. All right.
It's a bit of a tricky tactical question. If you're like, I want to know the thought process that goes into. My young daughter has a congenital throat problem, which is preventing her from eating properly. I'm going to pray to someone, but which person?
Which one? You got to get it right.
Which person is going to be able to fix this for me? It's very odd to be like, who I would like it? That 15-year-old who died of leukemia.
It's kind of gambling, isn't it?
It's
kind of gambling. Because you want to be like, well, I'm going to play the field here. But then some of the saints might get a bit jealous and be like, well, if you haven't, heart's not in it.
Yeah.
I want devotion.
I mean,
then
it's
I
sort
might
of
get
like
off my ass and do something.
it's sort of like picking an agent in Hollywood, right? Like, do you want the upstart, like the young guy at the agency who's like looking to make names, looking to really come to bat for you, doesn't perhaps have the track record, but is going to be there, is going to answer the phone call, is going to get you in the room? Or do you want someone who's already got, like Brad Pitt on the books?
Yeah.
But probably you're not going to be up there in terms of priority. Like, there's a lot of people looking for some attention now. Maybe you don't get exactly what you want, as in outcomes most of the time. Are we looking for experience or looking for drive,
I think you're really onto something here, Nick. Being a saint is like being an agent.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta make sure you sign to the right group, otherwise good luck.
That's a great point.
Good luck out there. And I bet you Mother Teresa, too busy. Throwing a prayer at Teresa these days, at old Tess, you're not getting shit.
No, she just does celebrities.
Just logistically. She's not getting all that.
Is she a saint now? I don't know if she's a saint.
Well, she had a bit of controversy.
Just Googling whether Mother Teresa is
aggressive
a saint.
typing.
Little cliffhanger. Is Mother Teresa a saint? Stay tuned.
Yeah.